It's really something that just comes down to what feels good for you. But what I can tell you is how I hold my pick and some of the reasons why and how I would go about finding a way that's comfortable for you to hold your pick. So for starters, I would balance the pick on my first knuckle of my index finger. And I have a 2-finger pick style, as in I use my first finger and my thumb. Some guys will throw the middle finger in there as well and use the 2 fingers on top and their thumb on the bottom. I find that to be really awkward and uncomfortable. One of the reasons I like 2 fingers on there, or 1 finger and a thumb, is that it gives you a lot of control over the angle of the pick, whereas if you have 2 fingers on there, it's pretty difficult to adjust the angle of the pick. You don't have as much freedom of motion. And also, I like to use the rest of these fingers whenever I'm playing. You can pick with your pick and pluck with your fingers. And if you have another finger on the pick, that's another finger that you can't use down here to pluck the strings with. So I would balance the pick on my first knuckle, facing about a 45-degree angle. So if the pick is pointing directly away from you, that would be a 90-degree angle. If it's pointing exactly the same direction as your first finger, then that would be no angle. So somewhere in between there. Mine's at pretty much a 45-degree angle. And then just kind of relax your hand, let your fingers naturally curl, and then just curl them in towards your body until they're within reach of your thumb. And wherever your thumb naturally falls when you relax your hand, that's a good place to grip the pick. You just want to use enough pressure to keep the pick from falling out of your hands whenever you hit the strings with the guitar. You don't really want to grip it, because if you grip it really hard, one, it's going to be too much tension in your arms and in your wrist. And you want to keep this nice and loose so you get a good fluid strumming technique. But it's also going to hang up in the strings because the pick can't glide over the strings when they meet the resistance. This is going to be a little bit loose in here, and that's good. You want that. So yeah, just enough pressure that you can hit the strings and the pick doesn't go anywhere. Another thing to be careful of or take note of is what's happening with these fingers once you've got the pick in these fingers. You really want to, I think, keep them pretty close to the natural curve of your hand and pretty close to where the rest of your fingers are. For a couple of reasons. One, having your fingers way out is going to look kind of funny, but it's also going to make it such that it's more tension here. And also, if you do decide to do something I do a lot and use these fingers to pluck, they're not going to be ready for action. You're going to have to bring them back in to do anything with them. So I like to keep them pretty close to the natural curve of the hand and pretty close to the rest of the strings. Just kind of tucked away a little bit, not making a fist with it. Still pretty relaxed there, but close enough that when you hit the strings, they don't hit the strings, but they are ready whenever you want to pluck with them.